Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, My Girlfriend Won't Lose Weight. Now guys, this is a story about a guy, about he and his girlfriend, they're both in their mid-20s, and basically this guy started dating this girl, and he describes her as that when he started dating her, that she was really pretty face, but she wasn't thin. You know, she had a little bit of extra pounds. The way he describes her, I would imagine her being, a little thick, some junk in the trunk, but not fat or anything like that, And over the course of 1 year, she went from being that, thick, junk in the trunk and all that, to being morbidly obese. And it's completely just become a mess because the guy is no longer physically attracted to her. He no longer wants to sleep with her. He can no longer do a lot of the activities that he likes to do. He used to do back with her because he's very active. He likes to do mountain biking and hiking and camping and all sorts of good stuff that requires you to be, in relatively decent shape to be able to do it. He can't do that with anymore. It's becoming a real problem. And so this guy is going through this whole story about, he's telling his situation and how to handle this to get her to lose the weight. Because, I'm doing this today, guys, because I don't think there's any guy out there that at least once in his life has dated a woman or been in a relationship, whether she was your girlfriend, fiance, or even wife, where once the girl got comfortable, she started putting on some pounds, okay? And it can range from a few extra pounds to becoming the Goodyear blimp, okay? No joke. And I've known some guys in that situation. And don't get me wrong, guys, because I'm going to be fair here, guys do it too. Okay, you can get a couple that used to be active before they started dating, and then they get together and they get that relationship gut, as we call it. Both of them are that way. Guys do it too. So, but we're focusing on the situation with a girlfriend now, so that's what I'm going to focus on. Okay, and here's the thing, guys. This subject is definitely taboo in our society. For a guy to, God forbid, tell his girlfriend that she needs to get in shape, lose some weight and all that, that's considered to be like one of the worst things you could do. Meanwhile, it's perfectly acceptable for a woman to tell her boyfriend, fiance, or husband that he needs to go to the gym and go on a diet and lose weight and all that. Not to mention other things like get a better job, make more money, go back to school. That's all okay, but if we do any of those things, we're the bad guys. But since we're in a time of supposed equality, I think it's only fair that a guy can say that. He doesn't have to be mean about it, but definitely be serious about it, okay? And no joke, guys, and I'm saying all this because this is important before I get to the story. I've told you guys I'm a personal trainer. I've been doing it for a long time, and typically 75 to 80% of my clients are women. But I also have guys, obviously, and over the years, I've definitely had guys that hired me for my services, and these are guys typically in their 40s, sometimes 50s, and the reason they started with me is because their wives were on them about getting healthy because they spent the last 25 years just, not taking care of themselves and all that. And they got to lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds or 40 pounds, right? And they tell me that their wife has been on their ass about it. So, they hire me and off we go. In that time, guys, as a trainer, how many times do you think I've had a woman hire me and tell me that her husband is on her about losing weight? Not once. Zero. And if I was a betting man, I would say that as long as I'm a trainer, I'm never going to hear that, ever, because it doesn't happen. So, but it's not fair to us because, guys are visual creatures. We are attracted to what we see. And so many women get bent out of shape about how guys are all about the looks, and they complain about that. But they don't understand is that's how nature designed us to be. Doesn't make a difference what guy, where he is in the world, we all respond to what we respond to. We're all drawn to what we're drawn to. Guys, for us, looks and body type is always the top of the list. Always, okay? Meanwhile, for women, which they don't understand, for women, while looks are important, looks to them aren't always the top of the list. They're usually a few notches below. Usually the top of the list are a guy that has resources, who can provide, who has a really good personality they click with, that has some status, things like that. So this is why you can have a woman be with a guy who gains a bunch of weight, and she'll still be attracted to him if he can provide resources and he takes charge. He's a leader in the relationship. He's an alpha. And, she likes his personality. She'll stay with him and actually find him attractive if he has those traits. A guy, on the other hand, can't do that for a woman if she gains a ton of weight and lets herself go. So it's a different situation. However, if that same guy that woman is with who is overweight, if he lost a bunch of weight, but then he also lost his job and he can no longer provide, mark my words, that same woman that would stay with that guy because he was overweight, but he had all the other good things, mark my words, if that same guy lost his job, it can no longer provide, and the savings are being depleted while he does nothing to get a new job, he's just being depressed and sitting on the couch watching TV all the time, that same woman that would stay with him because he's overweight, mark my words, if he wouldn't get off his ass and get a new job, she's out of there. Maybe not right away, but give it some time, it will happen. On the other hand, if you have a guy that has a girlfriend and she's really pretty and takes care of herself and she loses her job, you think the guy's going to leave her if she's still pretty and looks good after a few months and she hasn't gotten a job for whatever reason? No. No way. If she's looking hot, if money isn't a problem because the guy's working, we don't care. Of course, we want her to get her job in time, but that's not going to make us kick her to the curb or anything. But for a woman, if a guy loses his job, she'll stay with him at first for a while if he's working on it, but if he's not doing anything, give it time, she's out of there. So it's unfair for women to give us a hard time about, we're all about the looks, when in a different way, in terms of attraction, they would kick a guy to the curb like that, or pretty quickly, if he lost his job. So, just pointing that out, because I know I'm going to get people that are going to give me shit about this, probably women when they watch this video about the whole looks thing and telling a woman to lose weight thing, they'll lose their minds, but understand, we're both different, okay? So, without further ado, and I know it took a while, guys. I know some of you guys rant about me talking too long, but I had to address that. I'm going to go through the article here. So, the article starts off saying, just want to say that before I start, I really do love her. She's the kindest, smartest, funniest, most selfless person I've ever dated. I still think she has a beautiful face and personality, but her body is genuinely concerning. And not affecting just our relationship, but also her immediate health. I just feel so frustrated. And guys, as I go on here, you're going to see this guy who's telling this story, he's a good guy. You can tell he's a good guy. But he's a bit naive, as I've picked up some red flags here, which I'll point out along the way. And he's a little too nice, because I can see she's taking advantage of him. Some of his perceptions of her, I think, are definitely inaccurate. He starts with his story. My girlfriend and I have been dating for about a year now, and are both in our mid-20s. While she was never thin when we met, she was maybe just above average with no stomach rolls. In just 1 year, she's legitimately morbidly obese with a stomach she has to tuck into her pants. Huge difference in 1 year. While it's not only unhealthy to be that big, it's taking a direct toll on our relationship. I have a pretty outdoor life, hiking, riding bikes, camping, etc. And she really can't do these hobbies with me anymore. She's adamant she wants to, but when we go on a hike, she's really slow and needs to take a lot of breaks. Doesn't want me to see her like that, so she gets frustrated when the time stopped and I'm waiting for her. I've always found it pretty easy to stay in shape, so I think I get frustrated over it easier. So this is a guy who takes care of himself, obviously. He's very active and so forth. It would be one thing if he was complaining and going on about her being overweight or gaining a ton of weight and wanting her to lose weight, if he himself was equally out of shape and overweight. Okay, then that situation would be like, tough shit, asshole. Get off your ass and put your money where your mouth is. But this is a guy who started off in shape and healthy before the relationship, and as she's put on the pounds, he's still active and taking care of himself. So they don't match up, and it's totally understandable that he's frustrated here. We've talked about her losing weight many times before. She definitely has a food addiction and stress eats. She always feels like she needs to have something in front of her to snack on or eat. She will never say how much she weighs, doesn't let me hold her, touch her, or even look at her stomach. I feel like I don't even want to have sex with her anymore, and I'm just doing it because she wants to. It breaks my heart to say all this. I can't imagine our life in the future on this trajectory. It's just not sustainable. She either becomes so obese so she can't do anything on her own, dies an early death, or we break up. I can't marry or have kids with somebody with this as their future. Due to her mental dependence on food and stress eating, I think she needs a therapist to help her with it, but she doesn't have any insurance and isn't a citizen in this country, so it's not really an option. Is there anything I can do here? When we talk about it, she agrees and will go on a diet or cleanse that lasts a short while until she's back eating and drinking too much. I feel like I'm at the point to offering an ultimatum because I'm ready to leave over it anyways. Alright guys, so that's it for his thing, and I'm going to go into what I have to say here. So basically, again, this guy, over the course of a year, she becomes obese. And this guy, he takes care of himself, he's in shape, he's active and so forth. He's fed up and sick of this, okay? I see a problem here when he says that he believes she has an eating disorder and all that, okay? Because if she truly had an eating disorder and all that, I believe it would have been happening before she met him. But when she met him, he described her as like not being thin, but she wasn't in any way, shape, or form like she is now, obese. So it was when she started with him that she started pigging out and getting all huge and all that. He mentions that she's not a citizen and doesn't have insurance. It is a strong possibility that she saw this guy obviously he's fallen in love with her, and he's nice and caring and easy, that she started packing on all the pounds in the hopes that this guy will always be around to take care of her, and because he feels bad for her and she can't, maybe she gets big enough that she can't take care of herself, he feels bad, marries her, and she becomes a citizen. You see where I'm going with this. I could be wrong here, but after reading so many of these articles, guys, hearing countless stories people send me, I gotta admit my bullshit detector is pretty finely tuned, and I just don't buy this here. But okay, let's just say for argument's sake, she does have an eating disorder, and let's just say it isn't some trap to become a citizen. Okay, I'll just play devil's advocate here. In this situation for this guy, I would pretty much tell him that if he is not happy, and he's not having a good time, he's not attracted to her, he can't do all the things he enjoys with her, it's not much of a relationship. So if it were me, based on my life and what I know, well, first of all, I wouldn't have let it get this far, no fucking way. But putting that aside, if it were me, I would tell her, I would pretty much walk away. I would tell her, I've been trying to help you, you're not willing to do anything, I will help you point out some therapists and all that, but you got to take care of this, you got to get help, but I just can't do this anymore, end of story, I'm done. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I can't do this anymore. That's just me personally. I wouldn't have let it get this far, but in this situation where he is right now in this moment, that's what I would do. However, because this guy's all in love with her, and don't get me started on that whole nonsense there. If he really cares about her, wants to have a future with her, even though my senses tell me don't trust her because I think there's more bullshit going on here than he realizes, I would tell him to give her an ultimatum of 6 months. Babe, you got 6 months to meet with a therapist, because obviously you got a problem, and hire a personal trainer, get on it, talk to a nutritionist, get in on a good eating plan, and start seriously losing the weight. You don't need to lose a shitload, a great ton of it right away, but as long as I see you taking action to lose the weight and get healthy and get fit and all that, okay, I'll stick around. But if you're not willing to do that, then I'm out of here. I'm sorry, I got to move on, okay? But like I said in the beginning, guys, this is a taboo subject. God forbid a guy points this out to a woman and says this, he's the bad guy by so many standards. But in my opinion, it's bullshit. Because if we're in a time where everything's supposed to be equal, then why can't we say that? I think it's fair. If a woman can say it to a guy and tell him basically get off his ass and go to the gym and lose weight and get healthy and get a better job and make more money and go back to school, we can say these things too. But whether this works for this guy, who knows? Like I said, I would walk away. I just wouldn't want to deal with it, because the odds are she's going to have a problem her whole life, and this guy's not going to want to deal with it. And even though, he obviously likes her personality and he said things about her in the beginning, and again, putting away my sense about the whole she's not a citizen and trying to get him to feel bad for her and marry her so she can become a citizen, putting it aside, they just don't match up. She can't do all the things that he enjoys. They're obviously not hooking up, and this will be a problem forever. I think this guy is obviously a good guy, but way too nice, way too bit naive with regards to her. So I wish him all the best. Again, if this is a story I found, but if this was actually somebody writing me, I'd be straight up with you. I'd say either walk away, or at the very least, if you got to do it, give the girl 6 months to make some serious improvements. Doesn't have to be 100% improvement, but a serious dent on things. That's reasonable. And again, if women can tell us to do it, we can tell them. I think that's fair at this point, how things have gone. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. I'm sure I'm going to get plenty of opinions, probably especially from women that think I'm the devil for saying that, but it happens. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.